Howdy Pilgrims, Sam from the Markov Dossier here, and welcome to Project Herkulees. What's Project Herkulees, I hear you say? Well, let me show you. This will be Project Herkulees. It's an ironhide that I managed to get from eBay. I've wanted one of these for quite some time because the big vehicles are just cool, but they were really hard to get hold of, so I managed to get this one on eBay for quite a good bargain. It's in beautiful condition, as you can see. It's a lovely chunk of resin. Solid resin, which is why they were so hard to get hold of, because they were so expensive when they first came out. Okay, it's even come. Put that back there. Even come. All the weapons have been magnetised on, so there's the flame. There's the flamers. Put one of those on, just show. Flamers. Gatlings, which is what's currently on the official stat card. Gatlings. And rocket launchers. There you go, rocket launchers. All magnetised up. I've wanted one of these for a while because, as I said, the big vehicles are cool, but also the ironhide in particular is kind of ubiquitous. At least, I think it's 5 out of the 8 factions can use it. And I like the idea of that. It's not a military vehicle, it's actually a civilian vehicle with guns on it. It's an armoured pickup truck, basically, that's used in the West. And I like that because then I can paint it up. When I paint this, it's going to be for any of my factions that I use. And what I want to do with it is I want to basically develop my painting as I go. There are a million channels out there on YouTube of how to paint really well. Okay, just to give a shout out to a few people I know, Speed Demon Painting with Cohen, for example. If you want to see expert painting tips, by all means, watch his channel. I am not an expert painter. I am an okay painter at best, but I want to get better. And I'm going to use this, I'm going to paint it up, and what I really want to work on here is weathering techniques. I want this to look old and rusty and abandoned, but still going. A little while ago, a few months I think ago, I wrote one of my fan fiction pieces of old Hercules. When I first got this, I wrote this up, and basically made it a sort of legendary vehicle in the vein of the Love Bug. Herbie, a vehicle that could be found abandoned and brought to life by anyone who's lucky enough to find it. And that's the kind of thing I want here. I want it to be covered in rust and moss and verdigris. So I've bought some paints that do that, the texture paints that give the rust effects and the corrosion effects and so on. So I'm doing a lot of that and learning how to do streaking and so on. Once I've got him painted up, I'm also going to be learning how to base him. That's his base. Big old base, isn't it? That's the correct base for him. And I will be doing proper basing with that, so I'm thinking a rocky terrain for it to be driving over. So that's what it's going to be. So you're going to be watching me, hopefully if you're watching this, learn techniques as we go, and I'll be talking about how I think it went and so on. So not exactly a painting masterclass, more of a paint as we go. However, first of all, as you can see, it isn't primed, so we're going to need to prime it. So what I'm going to prime it with is, I'm going to paint it Chaos Black. I've got some rattle cans ready to go, and then I'm going to give it a light spraying of Army Painter chainmail I've got, or gunmetal. Army Painter metal paint. Can't remember the name of the brand of it. I'll remember that when I get the can in a second. To give it the, what's the word I'm looking for here? When you lightly spray it. I had the word a moment ago and it's gone out my head as usual. It's gone. Come back to me. Normally you do that technique with white. You spray it lightly white from one direction, give the highlights, while the Chaos Black gives the shadows. But I'm going to do it with metal. Then I'm going to add rust and a base colour. I'm going to add rust so underneath and put base colour on and scrape it off so you can see the rust coming through. The base colour I'm thinking is probably going to be a dark green or something like that. I don't want it to be a colour that can be associated with any of the factions, so I'm going to avoid blue, for example, and I'm going to avoid grey for the Confederacy as well, because I want something that looks basically civilian. There are going to be mismatched panels, so I might paint, where panels have been replaced, I might paint a panel here or there in a completely different colour. And so I'm going to do some glow effects in the RJ. This is a massive RJ cylinder in the front, so I'm going to do some glow effects in there using UV paint, probably in there, and I'm probably going to put some UV paint just in the grills there, so there's a glow coming out of that. I'm also thinking of doing some bullet holes. I saw a bullet hole technique you can use on YouTube, basically where you just drill small holes into it, and the bits of resin that will splay out from that, you keep that and you paint those silver and black in the middle, and it looks like you've got bullet holes going through it. We're also going to have moss, some moss growing on it, and so on. So eventually we'll have an abandoned ironhide that can be brought back to life on the table by anyone lucky to find it, which I'll write a scenario objective around and submit that onto the Dark Council at some point. Welcome back, pilgrims. Right, all done. There we go. Zenithal priming was the word I couldn't blooming well remember. I'm sure Scott will remind me during the editing. He'll put it in a nice big text or something on that video. But as you can see, nice black undercoat. There you go. And Zenithal primed with army painters. It was gunmetal, not plate mail. I couldn't remember which one I picked, but it is gunmetal. It's come out this lovely dark metallic colour all over. I think that looks mint. I can't wait to get this painted. It's picked out the shadows nicely under here, in the wheels and so on. So that's pristine, and I can't wait to start making this look roughed up. I think the next step will be for me to do some dry brushing white, just to pick out the things like the studs and so on, so they've got a bit more highlight on them, maybe there as well and there. But I will film myself doing that as we do it. So that's the ironhide itself, or Hercules. Did the gun weapons as well. Into my hand, to the screen, and they've come out really nice as well. Nice oily gunmetal colour with the black shading has come in really well. So Project Hercules is started. Please stand by for the next installment. But until then, happy trails, pilgrims.